You absolutely, in this country, have a free right to
undermine
the President of the United States. You know that, right?
The commander-in-chief.
The argument that the Democrats were making in that video, because the fact is the military is not obligated to follow illegal orders.
Who's giving the illegal orders? Where are they? Give me the example of the illegal orders.
The Democrats were saying specifically.
When a Maga Shill walks onto CNN thinking they're about to own the libs, you already know it's about to end badly. Sam Seder didn't just debunk him. He folded this man's entire argument like cheap lawn furniture. The dude came in swinging misinformation and left wondering why his talking points suddenly sounded like expired coupons. Pure demolition.
Welcome back. When it comes to Donald Trump's rhetoric, America is well rehearsed. There's been a decade of insults, provocations, controversies. You named the line and Trump has pretty much crossed it. But did he go too far this time? 6 Democrats released a video telling service members to disobey illegal orders. The president called them traitors. He said that they could be executed for seditious behavior. He even promoted another message that called for their hangings. One columnist says it's all a distraction from the bad news that he's been facing this week, from Epstein to the economy. Now, while that could most certainly be true, can it be ignored? Should it be ignored? Especially when those lawmakers say that his rhetoric is putting their lives actually in danger. After all, Trump and Republicans get angry when Democrats, liken his behavior to a fascist or a dictator. But calling for the execution of political opponents fits the definition. And it's certainly more extreme than calling someone a descriptor.
This whole intro lands like a cold splash of reality, because the moment Trump jumps from loud rhetoric to casually tossing around execution talk, the conversation stops being politics and starts being straight up unhinged. The host lays it out perfectly. A decade of chaos, insults, shock value, and somehow they still find a brand new line to cross. And the wildest part? The MAGA crowd wants to act outraged when someone compares his behavior to a dictator, while he's literally out here flirting with vocabulary pulled straight from authoritarian fan fiction. You can call it a distraction, you can blame bad headlines, but at some point you just have to admit, if a politician is talking like this, ignoring it isn't being fair, it's being irresponsible.
Frankly, you've got two sides that are preparing for perhaps what's going to happen over the course of the next year. Donald Trump's approval ratings are dismal. The Republican Party is on their back heels. They got destroyed, wiped out in a way that I haven't seen in 20 years in those elections 2 weeks ago. And so I think there's genuine concern amongst a lot of people in the country that Donald Trump is going to send in troops. He's already got these 500-person rapid response forces that are beginning to train and are going to be able to be deployed by spring. I think there's a lot of people who are concerned about what's going to happen over the course of the next 12 months in the run-up to the midterm elections.
Instead of hand-waving or sugarcoating, Sam Seder jumps in with that calm, matter-of-fact tone that somehow makes everything sound even scarier. He points out the GOP just got wiped out, Trump's approval numbers are circling the drain, and Republicans are basically stumbling into the next year already on their heels. Then he drops the real concern. People aren't imagining things. They're genuinely worried Trump might try to use actual force. And when he brings up those 500-person rapid response teams quietly training in the background,
the Democrats were trying to get out in front of that, and I think Donald Trump is trying to prevent them from getting out in front of it. And, his rhetoric is, of course,
terrifying.
Extreme.
His rhetoric is terrifying.
It's terrifying, but I think it's also indicative of what he's willing to do over the course of the next 12 months to make sure that Republicans retain the House.
No, but what do you mean? Do you mean in terms of actually following through on the threats, or what?
Well, I think there is a concern that Donald Trump is going to try and prevent the midterm elections from happening.
Okay, you're talking about these are the illegal orders.
Oh, okay, that
Yes.
he's trying to. Oh, okay. But let's just talk about just what's happening right now and how we just think that he's planning ahead. What world do we live in when a president gives an idea that, yes, I think execution is okay for my political opponents? What world do we live in when we just ignore that and we don't talk about what that actually means? Because we're used to what he's done. He's numbed us. We're normalizing his behavior. I think that's really dangerous. And I think all of it, yes, it is a distraction. Yes, it is something for us to pay attention to. But how dangerous is it as we come off of an assassination of Charlie Kirk?
you can practically feel every MAGA pundit in the room shift uncomfortably, like, we weren't supposed to talk about that part. She jumps in basically saying, hello? Are we all asleep? Because Trump hinting at executing political opponents shouldn't be something anyone just glosses over. She's not being dramatic. She's pointing out that we've gotten so used to the chaos that even the dangerous stuff starts sounding routine. And when she brings up the Charlie Kirk assassination, it's her way of saying, this isn't hypothetical anymore. This is the temperature of the room.
As if someone
the violence in this country is one-sided, and everyone knows it, right? What Trump is talking about is sedition, which is a law and order process. It goes. By the way, George Washington had generals who did insurrections put to death as well, right? So that's our first president that we ever had. Trump is.
Wait, hold on.
Let me just be clear.
Are you suggesting that Trump is right that these Democrats?
No,
should
what
be
I'm
put
saying
to
is
death for
that you
sedition?
guys are making the same mistake that you always do about Trump, which is that you're taking him literally instead of seriously. What he is obviously
I'm sorry,
pointing out.
He's the president of the United States. I think it is warranted to take him quite literally.
But you fall for this game every time.
I'm sorry, he is not not candidate Trump anymore. It's President Trump.
But what those Democrats are doing is absolutely treasonous. It's disloyal. They are causing division within the military. Who's issuing unlawful orders?
How is that treasonous?
How is his actions not?
The Trump supporter dragging George Washington into this is wild, like threatening political opponents is somehow history approved. And the taking him literally, not seriously line? Yeah, literal is exactly how you take it when the president talks execution. Flipping to calling Democrats treasonous mid-convo just screams panic. He's not making a point. He's digging his own hole for everyone to see.
How is his actions not the same type of normalizing of violent rhetoric that led to the assassinations that we've seen that's come from DNR? I mean, we've seen.
Which are?
I'm saying
Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota
were
assassinated.
The ones that were killed after the Medicaid wasn't expanded to illegal immigrants?
Hold on. Wait, excuse me?
It's just all...
What?
The question lands hard, pointing out how violent rhetoric can spill into real-world consequences. Trump's useless mouthpiece immediately starts scrambling, twisting words and backtracking, but Abby doesn't let him off the hook. She methodically dismantles his arguments, cutting through the spin and exposing exactly who's dodging reality and who's facing it head-on. It's the kind of exchange that exposes who's just spinning versus who's actually dealing with reality.
Saying that's okay?
No, I'm saying they were Democrats that killed them.
No,
this is not Republicans killing
You don't know that.
No, that is
I'm sorry.
not
You do
true.
not
This
know
is
that.
sensitive to me because Charlie Kirk was actually a friend.
I understand
And to hear
that,
people
but-
talk about Donald Trump and Republicans inciting
but Terry,
violence, it's just crazy.
The
It's
history
crazy. I'm
of
sorry.
political violence in this country is not a Democrat story. That is factually inaccurate.
It is in the last 5 years.
No, it is in the last 1 year. One, single. Okay? This year, 2025, is the first and only year in the last 20 years where left-wing violence has exceeded right-wing violence. That is a fact. In the last 5 years, it's been 4 years, it's right-wing violence, 1 year left-wing violence. So you can have the aperture only be expanded to the last 10 months, but in the history of this modern political time, that is just not accurate. But even if it were,
He's
if
not allowed to
Donald
say that.
Trump thinks that there is a problem of political violence in this country, why on earth
Would he say
are
that?
comments like these acceptable to
Sedition
you?
is a lawful process.
The debate exposes just how twisted the narrative around political violence can get. Over the past 5 years, right-wing attacks have far outpaced left-wing incidents. Yet there's this persistent claim otherwise. Even when left-wing violence spikes in a single year, it doesn't erase the broader trend, and the bigger danger is when rhetoric from the top normalizes aggression. Facts and context matter, yet the conversation often gets warped, distracting from the real threat to democratic norms.
Would he say
Are
that?
comments like these acceptable to
Sedition
you?
is a lawful process. You have to be
Sure.
tried and convicted in the court of law.
Sure.
He's not
But
encouraging
you
people.
actually
He's not saying
believe-
this is Hitler.
But hold on a second.
These people are fascists.
You actually believe that Democrats putting out a video saying follow the law
I think
is
it was
sedition?
terrible. I think it was terrible.
You think that's sedition?
And look, we've already seen Democrats weaponize
Terry,
the
let me
government.
ask you a question. Do you think that Democrats putting out a video saying this is follow the law, don't follow
Why do you need
illegal
to tell
orders?
people to follow the law?
Do you think that is sedition?
What, everyone in the military
It's a
knows
yes
you need
or
to follow
no. It
the
is
law.
a yes or no question. Is it sedition to tell people to follow the law?
I think Democrats have a long and standing history of undercutting and undermining the Constitution.
You're not willing to say yes or no because it's very obvious that the answer is no.
Because
if that were the case,
it's a wink and a nod. That's the reason. Their words are perfectly. It's a perfect video, but it's a wink and a nod, and it's all meant to undermine the President of the United States. The military does not have a right to undermine the chief.
Hold on a second. In this country, you do get to undermine the President of the United States.
Not if you're in the military.
No.
He's the commander-in-chief.
If you are a member of Congress, you absolutely, in this country, have a free right to undermine the President of the United States. You know that, right?
The commander-in-chief.
The argument that the Democrats were making in that video, because the fact is the military is not obligated to follow illegal orders.
Who's giving the illegal orders? Where are they? Give me the example of the illegal order.
The Democrats were saying specifically, you're not obligated to follow illegal orders. Period.
Okay, then what illegal orders are they talking about?
Well, they're just
in the future, just in case.
In the future, yeah.
Because you're
just in the case.
Because they're
right
all
now
crazy.
we have a judge.
They're all crazy.
No one's going to stop the midterms.
Trump's sending in.
Who just came up with the conspiracy theory that Republicans are going to stop the midterms? That's crazy. That's a conspiracy theory.
All right, we have to leave it there.
This exchange shows how quickly a simple question, is it sedition to tell the military to follow the law, gets twisted into hypotheticals and conspiracy theories. One side inflates wink and nods into treason, while the other calmly sticks to facts, exposing every dodge. By the end, the wild claims about midterms and illegal orders just make the argument collapse under its own weight.